Welcome to Seattle Public Utilities Ask Evelyn Live, where we answer your questions about recycling, compost, garbage, and other trashy topics. I'm your host, Becca Fong. This month, we have been talking all about plastics. And so this week, we are going to be talking about striving for sustainability and a little less single-use plastics. So this week, Pat is out, but we have a super special treat for you guys. We have a special co-host for the week. Gemini Davis will be joining us. He is on the production team for Ask Evelyn Live, so he is often behind the scenes, and we're going to bring him forward. So we are super excited to have him join us for this week's show. All right. Well, I hope that you guys are enjoying your month of January. I don't know about where you guys are. It is nice and sunny here, which is just lovely. All right. So we have talked a lot about plastics this month. And Gemini, hey, how's it going?
How's it going, Becca? Thank you for such a great introduction.
Absolutely. So those of you finally get to see one of our fantastic production team. This is Gemini Davis. Katie Dillon is also on the production team. They make the magic happen. So I'm so excited that you get to join us, and I'm excited to talk about plastics.
I am as well. I enjoy and learn so much from the questions that come in each week. It's a pleasure to be able to ask one live here today.
Absolutely. So Gemini, for those of you who do not know you and all of your fabulousness, do you want to tell folks who you are and what you do for Seattle Public Utilities?
I'm part of the solid waste line of business and support our administrative team, a lot of certain specific projects, but really I feel like my main job is just helping all of our subject matter experts do their job to the best of their ability. So whatever support and assistance I can provide, I try to be there to help.
Awesome. Thanks. And, those of you out there, he is, the person behind the curtain that makes things happen. So it's really good to be able to have you up front this week. So Gemini, since you are the co-host for this week, do you want to read us the question that came in?
For sure. This question actually comes in from Yara, and we'll start. Hi, Evelyn. Now that I'm bringing my own bags to pick up takeout, which is great, I'm thinking of new ways that I can eliminate single-use plastics from my life. What is the best single-use plastic things to swap out?
Yes. So quick answer, Yara, is bring your own utensils. That by far is probably the easiest and quickest thing where you can make a really big impact. I'm so glad that you are bringing your own bags. Sometimes that is hard to remember, especially for takeout, because it's a bit of a new behavior. And the other quick thing would be reusing containers at home. So that's a little bit easier, but if you have any packaging that you can use, definitely do that. But let's get into a few more details. So Gemini, you and I were talking a little bit about this. There's all kinds of different ways to kind of reduce your single-use plastic use, right?
Sure.
Absolutely. So one thing that we have talked about is, again, this kind of bring your own utensils, right? So this is part of the on request only law that is going into effect in the state of Washington. And so, I don't know, Gemini, when you've gone out to eat recently, have you noticed that these aren't being thrown in, right? These aren't included.
I have, I believe as recently as the top of the new year, if I'm correct.
Absolutely. So, what have you found? Have you found that, they're available to pick up there, or you're like, hey, I already have that covered. I don't need to have those. What are some things that you're doing?
Some of the things I've tried to utilize is just not picking them up, not asking for them, and trying to rely on what I have at home and use some of those things.
Totally. So you are in kind of a unique situation too, where some of us are starting to go back into the office and whatnot. So you're kind of, it seems so long ago, right? Where we're actually potentially going out to get lunch or bringing lunch with us. Are there any, tips and tricks that you've found that have kind of helped you as you're transitioning back too? Because it's easy to go single use when you're traveling more.
It is a lot easier when you're traveling. I think some of the tricks and tips that I would try to give is just kind of allowing yourself your own supply, personal supply, and probably easy to carry or travel with. If you're going to be in a certain place, a lot of times, like for myself, as you can tell, I'm working out of our normal work building. And so since I know I'm going to be here a lot of times for lunch or eating, just making sure that I have some supplies here the same way I would do at home.
Totally. And, I think that that's great. It's always good to plan ahead. But I did want to kind of give everybody every once in a while, even with the bag ban, I was out grocery shopping and I ended up buying one of these reusable bags, which I'm going to throw into my backpack for when I do get takeout. you know, when I do get something to go, so I have it ready for me, and then I'm reusing it. So even though this, you know, it could be a single-use plastic, I'm going to make sure that I give it another opportunity to be used more than once. And what was really interesting was that I was looking into this a little bit more, and this kind of blew me away, is that there are almost 1 trillion individual pieces of disposable foodware packaging that are used in the US every year. To me, that like blows my mind. A trillion, I can't even really imagine what a trillion things looks like.
I am actually very surprised to hear that as well, Becca. I would have never imagined that. I think it's so easy for so many of us to just think like, is it really making that big of a difference to not include a spoon or a fork or to use those things? So to hear you say a trillion, clearly there's some impact there.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. Every single time you use one less single-use thing, you're having an impact on that 1 trillion number, which has got to add up, right?
Yeah.
One thing that Pat had mentioned in one of our shows earlier this month, which is how much of an impact that also supports our local businesses, which definitely I know is top of mind for all of us. And I was looking at the figures that came up with that 1 trillion number, and we're going to link to that in the show notes for all of you waste nerds out there who want to dig into the details. But they cited that $24 billion is spent by restaurants and food service businesses in the US on disposable items every year. That is a lot of money. $24 billion. So again, not just like environmental impact, but every time you bring one of these bad boys with you or have a supply like you do, you know, at work, you know, you're helping to reduce that amount of money that businesses are going to have to put out. It's kind of crazy. So I did want to bring a couple of other things that I wanted to show you guys. So one thing I have that I picked up at Goodwill years and years ago is a little like flat pack to go container. Those
Wow.
are super helpful, right? And then these are just utensils like from my house, right? So you could bring those to work. Those are super helpful to have. And then one other kind of fun thing that we have is it's a little gum container, and I use it for snacks for my kids for lunch, which is kind of nice. It's like the nice size. And then you have 2 ways to dispense it, either the small way or the big way. And so that could have been a single use thing, but we've used them over and over again. So like you were saying, Gemini, every little time, every opportunity counts.
I've got a bad habit of eating a lot of candy and snacks, Becca. So I think the container you use for your kids could actually work for myself. So thank you for sharing that. I think that's something I'm going to try to utilize in my personal life.
I wouldn't say bad habit. I think sweets have their place.
I like
You
to think
know,
so.
I mean, there are just time like sometimes you just need a little something. So,
Yeah.
and then of course, like giving anything a new life, as long as you're reusing it again, that really, really makes an impact. So, all right. Well, folks, Yada, thank you so much for your question. That was super, super helpful to just generate the conversation. We hope you gave you some good ideas. Definitely make sure that you've got some utensils. You've definitely heard Pat and I say this. You've got Gemini here backing us up. It's like when you're prepared, you're ready to dig in and eat. And it'll make a big difference in that 1 trillion number of disposable single-use foodware items. So awesome. All right, just a couple of quick reminders. So I don't know how it's looking at your house, Gemini, but I have moved on from the Christmas holidays.
Same.
However, Seattle Public Utilities is here for those of you who, you know, kind of want to keep that Christmas vibe and holiday vibe going. If you still have your Christmas tree or you have holiday greens that are at your place, we are still taking them for free pickup with your yard waste. So up to 3 trees. If you still got 3 trees, or you got some neighbors with 3 trees, make sure all the decorations are off, and then they're cut into 4 foot or less lengths. And you can put those out for free, and we will pick them up through the end of this month, so through January 31st. Or you guys are, if you're taking a trip to the transfer station, go ahead and throw those into your rig and take those to the transfer station. We'll take up to 3 free as well. And while it is sunny today, with all the service interruptions, I want to put in a quick plug for those of you who have not downloaded it yet. Check out the Recycle It app. It sends you weekly notifications. We were definitely sending folks to sending them information as services were being interrupted with all that snow and ice. So check that out. We'll have a link to that in our show notes as well. So we got a quick comment in our show notes here. Gemini, so it says, can decorative tins be recycled? I'm guessing maybe, what are you thinking, like cookie tins?
That's what I would assume, yes. Oh, looks like there's another follow-up. Can plastic nursery pots be recycled on our bins?
Absolutely. So the answer to both of those is Yes. So decorative cookie tins, congratulations to you because somebody loves you enough and gave you some cookies. That's fantastic. I hope they were delicious. But if it is a metal tin or a plastic tin, or a plastic container, you can go ahead and put those in your recycling. Make sure that you've eaten all those delicious cookies and all the crumbs are out. And then as far as plastic nursery pots, give those a quick rinse, make sure that they're dry and as much soil is out as possible. And you're good to go to put those in your blue cart. So, all right. Well, Gemini, thank you so much for jumping in as co-host this week. It is so great to see you in front of the camera. And, I have a feeling that this will not be the last time. So all of you out there who've enjoyed Gemini joining us, he's going to be back.
I hope not. This is great, and I learned so much from the questions that come in all the time. So I just want to thank you for providing those answers each week, and wishing a speedy recovery to Pat.
Absolutely. All right, folks, thank you so much. Keep those questions coming. Send them to us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or you can send us an email at askevelyn@seattle.gov. With that, we'll see you next Wednesday at 1:30 for more trash talk. And with that, I am Becca Fong, and life's simpler with less stuff. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks again, Gemini.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.